Hello everyone, this is part 60 of What If Naruto Had Two Bloodlines, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Sakura was in the Hokage's office awaiting her next errand. The door opened and in walked Yuki, saying that she had just completed hers. Tsunade looked up from her desk and seemed suspicious of Yuki. All of a sudden, she threw her approval stamp at Yuki. It hit and knocked down the door. While Shizune freaked because now there would have to be more repairs done, it was just as Tsunade figured. That girl, she's playing hooky again. Again, Sakura was thinking. Tsunade looked to the pink-haired Kunoichi and ordered, Sakura, you're to go find Yuki and bring her back here. I don't care how you go about it. You can beat her to within an inch of her life as far as I'm concerned. Just drag her back with you. Sakura felt a little uneasy about the Hokage's order to bring Yuki back at all cost, but she figured that it wasn't as bad as it seemed. If it were her, she'd be pretty mad about Yuki constantly ditching her duties as well. Since Yuki and her got along pretty well, Sakura figured that this task wouldn't be so hard. All that remained was finding where she was, and Sakura already had a good hunch on where that was. Yuki was affectionately seeing to her injured brother, at least she was trying to. Every time she would offer to kiss his boo-boo, to make it all better, he would fight her on it. Maybe because his injury wasn't all she was trying to kiss. With the help of a few shadow clones, and Naruto's injured arm, Yuki finally had him right where she wanted him. As she moved in, she suddenly stopped and jumped. Startled, she said, "Oh crap." Sakura was making her way to Naruto's room when the door flung open. From inside, Yuki took off down the hall. She ran away. Sakura was surprised. She was about to give chase when she heard a crash. As Yuki sped down the hall, she said into an unsuspecting Hinata. From the collision, Sakura saw that Yuki disappeared in a puff of smoke. It was then she realized. A decoy. The real one must still be in the room. Sakura entered to see Naruto sitting alone on the bed. He asked what she was looking for. She told him that she was ordered to bring Yuki back to the Hokage. Oh, Naruto said unsurprised. He then told her, there's one in the closet, one under the bed, and one transformed into the little potted plant on the window sill. Hearing that they all had been given up so easily, they all jumped out of their hiding places thinking to scatter. 3 tried to run right by Sakura thinking that she couldn't get them all. Sakura outstretched her arms and embraced them all in a monstrous bear hug. They all disappeared as she increased the pressure. All that was left was one opening the window. Brother, you idiot traitor. She yelled as she went out the window. Sakura immediately went after her. She avoided a collision with Hinata and asked her to take care of Naruto before finally going. Naruto asked what that was about, and Hinata told him that she had come to do what she could to help his recovery. Naruto was perfectly fine with it and asked her to come in. Though Naruto didn't seem to stress about having a girl in his room, Hinata was ready to panic. A bright blush appeared on her face as she hesitated. This would be the first time she had gone into his room. After taking in a deep breath, Hinata entered. She nervously looked around, taking it all in. It was a little messy with clothes strewn about and empty cups of ramen on the stand, but Hinata found it a bit interesting. She stopped next to his bed and looked around for a place to sit. Naruto noticed this and told her that she could sit on the bed as well. Her heartbeat increased as he patted the spot next to him. Hinata began to feel weak. This was one familiar to her whenever she would get close to Naruto with nothing to keep her mind on anything else. Suddenly, her legs gave out and she plopped onto the bed beside him. She hadn't fainted, but the feeling was persistent. She was having a hard time focusing on what she was supposed to do. Sensing that she may be a little nervous about this whole thing, Naruto tried to help ease her. He asked her if she could really heal his arm. Hinata shook her head and snapped back to reality. She then replied, yes. I've been able to do just about anything from healing broken bones to reattaching people's severed limbs. She cycled through seals and several chakra rings appeared on Hinata. She took one and placed it on his injured arm up to his shoulder. She then placed another on his wrist and another around his hand. Naruto remembered the time Hinata's grandmother helped him like this. At this point, Naruto noticed that she no longer seemed as nervous as before. Since talking seemed to help, Naruto kept it up. Sakura had followed Yuki to one of the many training grounds in the village. She commanded that Yuki come on out so that they could return together. Yuki showed up in a tree and refused to simply return. This isn't the way a shinobi should act. You're supposed to take pride in everything you do, even if it is just menial tasks. These things can build character just as much as going out on missions. Disregarding your responsibilities and running away isn't the way, Sakura preached. That's easy for you to say when you at least get to do new and exciting things every now and then, Yuki responded. Besides, I don't just run away from whatever it is that Granny Sunid has me do. I do what I'm told, and take the rest of the day off the first chance I get. She softly spoke the last part. Sakura had heard it and felt sorry for her, but she still had her orders. She wouldn't just let Yuki do what she wanted. She would straighten her out herself if she had to. I figured you would be like this, but if you plan on keeping me in line, you're gonna have to show me that you can, big sis. She smiled as she lunged at Sakura. Sakura didn't want to hurt Yuki, but it looked like she didn't really have a choice. Sakura waited until the last possible minute and drew back. She came forward with a monstrous punch to Yuki's body that sent her crashing into the tree. Sakura gasped and covered her mouth in disbelief as she apologized. She was then shocked as Yuki disappeared. She realized that it was a shadow clone, but too slow. Two Yukis appeared behind her and kicked her in the back of her knees. As she dropped, they each grabbed an arm, pinned her legs with their feet, and began stretching her. Sakura groaned in agony as they pulled her as much as they could. If they continued, Naruto wouldn't be the only one with his arm in a sling. Sakura struggled as she tried to fight back. She strained as she tried to force her way out of the hold they had her in. Thanks to her monstrous strength, Sakura managed to free herself. As she did, both Yukis were hurled to the tree. Sakura then charged after them, ready to S them both. Hinata had come and gone. As she had, Naruto noticed the big bright blush on her face, but being as oblivious as he was, he told her to take good care of herself, thinking that maybe she was coming down with something. Even after she had left, Naruto recalled the time he spent with her. Before, she had seemed so uneasy and nervous about being in his room with him, but after they started talking, she unconsciously kept the conversation going. Naruto recalled how this would happen when they were younger as well. He figured a long time ago that she was shy, but he still couldn't figure out why she acted so oddly. Since his arm was no longer in a cast and sling, he was looking to test it. He groaned as he stretched it and rubbed it. He got up and turned off the lights. He sat down on the bed and began cycling through seals, ignoring the uncomfortable pain. Pinpoint, star mapping. His eyes blackened as several bright spots lit up within them. He closed his eyes. Orochimaru's body was beginning to break down and he was now bedridden. He felt ill as he struggled to even sit up. Every single breath he breathed in and out even seemed to hurt. He couldn't stand this drawback of his jutsu, but he figured that it was worth it if he could stave off death and acquire all the jutsu of the world. Kabuto left the room to get his medicine, but Orochimaru knew that the best fix for this would be to take Sasuke's body as soon as possible. If he could find the strength to get out of bed, he'd go do just that right now. The creaking of the wooden door caught Orochimaru's attention. As it splintered, he noticed a blade of chakra quickly approaching. He managed to get his arms up to slow it but found himself pinned to the wall as it forced its way through. Orochimaru looked up to meet the cold gaze of the perpetrator. His attacker stepped in from the dark hallway, forcing the blade further through Orochimaru's arms. Just as I thought, it's come to this, Sasuke, Orochimaru hissed. There's nothing more you can teach me. I won't show any mercy as I show you how weak you really are, he stated. As his curse seal opened and spread across his body, Sasuke said, because of that, there's no need for me to give you my body. Orochimaru sickly chuckled, such big talk, for a fledgling. And that's exactly why you targeted me, right? Because at the time, I was nothing more than a fledgling, and was easy enough for you to get. He teased Orochimaru a little more, saying, you couldn't get Itachi, so you set your eyes on the next best thing, that's all you could do, even though you were labeled the genius of the legendary three. but you were only called that by those of normal standards. Compared to Uchiha, you're nothing. No matter how much you're considered a genius, you and all your jutsu are nothing before the eyes of the Uchiha. You disgust me in how you immerse yourself in medicine and your body snatching ways just to get closer to the Uchiha's power. What is your purpose in life? You say that you want to discover the secrets of this world, but is that really it? You've played around with people's lives for such a stupid reason. You and people like you make me sick. Sasuke increased Orochimaru's discomfort as he charged. He drew his sword and prepared to take the snake's head, but before he could execute him, something jumped from within. Orochimaru's body was now nothing more than a husk. To think that you would go this far to keep your body, Sasuke. Sasuke turned to see a giant, white-scaled serpent behind him. This was Orochimaru's true form. It lunged at him and Sasuke jumped over it as it crushed the bed and its former container. Sasuke, give me your body. Orochimaru's scales turned out to really be snakes. From his body, a few came to life and attacked Sasuke. Using his blade, Sasuke made quick work of them but more followed. He SD and diced many of them, but they just kept coming. Before they could overwhelm him, he slipped off his shirt and activated, level 2, of his seal. Shah! Orochimaru hissed. I will have your body, and then, I will fulfill my aspirations. Just like a snake that shurs around on the ground to dream of flying, but it's impossible, because the only way that's possible is in the talons of a hawk, Sasuke said as he spread his hand like wings and shredded the attacking snakes to pieces. SSSSAA, Asuke. He quickly shirred and lunged at him. Sasuke extended his Chidori sword once again and SD clean through Orochimaru's serpent body. It collapsed in pieces. With no sign of movement, Sasuke withdrew his blade and returned to normal. He turned to leave but suddenly felt weak. He dropped to his knees as Orochimaru began to move once more. It's starting to kick in, I see, he said as he seemingly came back to life. The white snakes on this body release a numbing poise, sun into the air when exposed. Because of this, I can now take your body. He explained as he unhinged his jaw and lunged at Sasuke. A knock on the door startled Naruto and caused him to lose his focus. The door opened and a head poked in. What is it? I just wanted to check on you and see how you were doing. I'm fine, he told her. I'm glad to hear it, she smiled. Oh, and there's someone else here that I'm sure is glad to hear it as well. She opened the door all the way and turned on the light. In the doorway stood Grandma. Naruto sounded surprised. Naruto, my handsome grandson, it's good to see that you're doing well, she hugged him. What are you doing here? He asked. I missed you guys, so I came back. I wanted to spend some time with you, so, how about we all go out and have some fun? What do ya say? My treat. Sure. Naruto smiled. There's just one thing I wanna do and I'll meet you outside. Hitomi nodded and as she and Yuki were leaving, she questioned Yuki about the bruises on her. She told her of how soon it sent someone after her. She wasn't hurt but was scorned, and then she sarcastically said that she was told that it was done out of love. Hitomi became furious and stormed off ready to teach Tsunade how to be a real grandmother with Yuki encouraging her. Not knowing what that was all about, Naruto turned out the lights once again and got back to what he was doing. Kabuto returned to Orochimaru's room to find blood spilling to the outside. He cautiously approached and peeked inside. There, he found Sasuke standing. He was quickly noticed and, Sasuke, exited the room. Seeing a lifeless, giant serpent on the ground, Kabuto didn't know who it was that he was dealing with. He questioned what exactly happened. Sasuke turned to him, revealing his Sharingan and Kabuto felt a strange sensation. Before he knew it, he was trapped in an illusion. His question was being answered as he watched the events that played out during Orochimaru's ritual. Once it was over, Kabuto came to his conclusion. Does this mean? Exactly, I took control, and now his powers are mine, he said as he walked away. Is that so? It is, but what are you doing here? Sasuke asked a figure around the corner. How many times do I have to tell you? I won't come with you, Naruto. Naruto stepped around the corner and leaned against the wall. He crossed his arms as he said, Nah, I was just checking in. Why? No reason really, I just wanted to know what you were what you would be up to now, just in case. Is that so? The two traded looks. Having enough, Sasuke told him, What I do now is none of your concern, so stay out of it and go home. As Sasuke walked by, Naruto said, I don't really care what you do as long as you don't become Orochimaru's puppet. Since that's no longer the case, I'll go home, but let me warn you, don't do anything stupid because I'll be checking in on you from time to time. I can either be like a guardian or, well. Sasuke didn't say anything. As he walked away, Naruto turned to Kabuto with a serious look on his face. He walked to investigate Orochimaru's room and continued on. Kabuto didn't know what was going on. His world had been turned upside down. Sasuke was leaving and now Orochimaru was gone, maybe forever, or was he? Sasuke was now in the lab. So, does this mean that you defeated Orochimaru? He heard a voice say. He pressed a button on a control board and a container opened. Water spilled out and puddled onto the floor. A figure began to form from it. You'll be the first, Sugetsu, Sasuke said as he placed a hand on his sword. Oh, is that so? The first. For what? Who else will there be? Sugetsu asked as his form solidified. There'll be two others, Juugo from the northern hideout and Karen from the southern. And just what exactly do you want with me, that monster, and that annoying woman? What will we be doing? Just accompany me for a bit, and then I'll tell you of my plan, Sasuke told him. Fine, you did free me after all. I suppose I don't mind, but you're crazy to pick those other guys, Sasuke. There's just one thing, his feet splashed through the puddle as he slipped behind Sasuke and placed his finger to his head. Let's get one thing clear though, just because you defeated Orochimaru doesn't mean you're better than me, it just means that you had the best opportunity to get him before anyone else. There were many after him and sooner or later one of us would have. We don't have time for this, put on some clothes and let's go. Ordering me around even though the situation favors me, you're something else Yano. He lifted his finger from Sasuke's head and said, just kidding, but man, not even an irregular heartbeat, you really are some piece of work. Get dressed already. I'm going, you must be pretty strong to take down Orochimaru. I'd heard stories about how strong you were back then. Like the one where you and your team took down my comrade Zabuza. I'll agree to come with you on one condition, I get his sword. If it's a sword you want, why not just take one of Orochimaru's? The swords of the 7 ninja swordsmen were passed down from generation to generation. I admired them and trained to become one of them. Now, I feel that I've earned the right to carry one, maybe even them all. The leaf. Next morning. You're late. Soon it exploded as Naruto and Sakura entered her office. Already there were Sai and Yamato. The two fell in line as Tsunade began talking. I've called you here because I have a mission for you. A mission? What kind? Naruto asked. There was a knock on the door right before it opened. From it entered and greeted Jiraiya with news. Why is everyone coming into my office so late today? Tsunade snapped. Now, take it easy Tsunade. What do you want? She asked. He walked by ruffling his grandchildren's hair and said, I have news about Sasuke. Sasuke. Sakura confirmed. With a somber expression, Naruto looked off to the side as Jiraiya finished. It seems that he managed to KO Orochimaru. Is that true? Sakura inquired as her eyes glistened. Jiraiya nodded his head. I heard it from a reliable source. I also heard that he was on the move. So, what do you think, Naruto? Naruto looked glum. He probably won't be coming back to the village, but we'll get him. Everyone seemed slightly, pleasantly surprised by what he had said. Everyone that is except Yuki. She looked to be a little upset that her brother was still going so far for someone that didn't seem to want it. Naruto continued, for now, let's focus on our new mission. While Tsunade filled them in on their mission, Jiraiya thought to himself, that Naruto, what's with him? I was expecting him to wanna go after Sasuke right this minute. I have some free time and I could have even helped, but. Tsunade finished, I've already informed the other team, but you'll be in command Yamato, dismissed. The team filed out with Yuki behind them. Tsunade quickly stopped her and reminded her that she wasn't to leave the village. She GSED and groaned, why can't me and my brother switch off sometimes, starting now? Without a second thought, Tsunade refused this proposal. Yuki let out a frustrated groan and slumped back to the Hokage's side. Jiraiya caught up to Naruto down the hall and asked him what was with him. Naruto revealed, I already knew about Sasuke. If you knew, then why didn't you say anything? What's with your attitude? He lowered his voice, I didn't want to worry Sakura. I used my jutsu to find him and showed up when I found out that there was something strange going on. I was gonna help him, but it was already over. After these past couple of years, I've realized that even if we brought Sasuke back, unless it's under his own will, it won't be the same. And he'll probably be placed on restriction if he tries to go off on his own again. I want to fulfill my promise with Sakura, but this makes things hard. For now, we can only give him some space and hope that he chooses not to do anything too dangerous and comes back on his own. Are you sure you're okay with that? I have to be, but if things go too far, then I may just have to find him and bring him back by force anyway. For now, I'll just let things go and wait and see. He walked off. Jiraiya let him go but thought, I hope things go that easily for you, but with both you and your sister being targeted by Akatsuki, it doesn't seem that way. It'd be better if they were out of the picture. Naruto returned to his room to get his things for the mission. Once packed, he slung his backpack over his shoulder and headed out the door. He bid farewell to his sister and grandmother and the granny-like Hokage to her dismay. He left the tower and headed to the village gate. On the way there he pondered about the mission, trying to keep the Sasuke situation out of his head. So, as far as we know, we're supposed to save a hostage and bring in the ones responsible, if we can. At the most, a mission like this should only need one team, but why are there two? He arrived at the gate to see his team waiting for him. Along with them he saw the other team that would be joining them and understood why they were picked for this mission. It was the best tracking team in the village, Team 8 led by Neji. Now that everyone is here, let's move out, Yamato said. Their mission was underway as they exited the village. They made haste as they began running through the forest. They had to get there before it was too late. Their destination, the land of honey. Elapsed time. Almost as soon as they reached the country's border, Naruto and Neji picked up on something. With a quick warning, the rest of the team prepared for the following attack. A shower of shuriken and kunai was deflected by the leaf shinobi as they took the defensive. As they plopped to the ground, Naruto felt a strange sensation in the air. Move, he shouted. His group jumped away as electricity filled the air. Now, pick him off, a woman shouted. Hearing this, the leaf shinobi wondered what was in store for them. They had separated into smaller groups when they heard the enemy's order. Naruto, Neji, Shino, and Kiba had managed to stay together. Neji said that they should rejoin the others before anything happened, but there was a change in plans. Above, Neji called out. A shinobi wielding a sword jumped from a tree. Naruto quickly summoned his swords and used one of the curved ones to block. As they clashed, the attacking ninja's blade broke almost instantly. As Naruto's blade cut through his, the dark shinobi barely avoided having his head follow. He backed off, saying, "Oh man, my sword." As he stopped on a tree, his Cloud Village headband could be clearly seen. As he also got a good look at the group, he seemed to be shocked to see Neji. Before either could make any comments, another shinobi jumped in. "Sword of water," he shouted. The leaf shinobi quickly moved to avoid being cut. Naruto sheathed his sword and began gathering chakra in his hands. He noticed another surprise attacker and fired his dragon wave at him. The would-be attacker quickly cycled through hand seals. Naruto's attack seemingly landed, but oddly it returned to its original sender. Naruto dove out of the way in shock. He wouldn't even have time enough to question this as another enemy was barreling down on him. He rolled over to avoid being buried in the small crater left by the attack. Wah! What was that? From the crater stepped a rather large man that dwarfed Naruto. His eyes bugged out at the sheer size of this guy. "You're just a kid," he commented. "Too bad that I have to do away with ya." He reared back and, with one punch, created another small crater in the earth. Naruto continued evading until he came upon a tree. He wrapped his tails around the tree's trunk and swung around it. He placed his feet into the big guy's chest but only forced him back slightly. He smiled as he rubbed it off. Neji now found himself defending against the waterfall nin, Shino was paired with the cloud nin, and Kiba began fighting the other guy. Kiba threw shuriken as he charged in on Akamaru. He watched as the guy pulled a kunai to knock them away. The two closed in and the enemy jumped to the side. As they passed, Kiba jumped from Akamaru's back and onto his opponent. With the group separated, Sakura, Sai, and Hinata found themselves having trouble of their own. Both Sai and Sakura were having difficulty with a female attacker who used flower jutsu. Ninja art, flower shuriken jutsu. The grass kunoiki said as flowers began flying about like shuriken. Sai ducked behind a tree and Sakura used her axe to block. Sakura then charged in ready to swing her axe, but the grass nin cycled through her seals. Sakura found herself falling as she tripped over an unexpected root popping from the ground. She recovered in time to see the grass nin pull a thorny whip. She cracked it but there was interference. A beast made of ink took the blow and exploded that ink all over Sakura. Alone, Hinata found herself confronted with another kunoiki. She wielded a staff with distinctive blades on it. One end had a circular shape with crescent-shaped blade at the end. At the other end of the staff was another lone crescent-shaped blade. It was whirled around before the kunoiki charged at Hinata. Hinata didn't have time to ready her bow, so she grabbed a kunai instead. The attacking kunoiki lunged and, using her kunai, Hinata redirected it over her head. As the weapon planted into the tree, Hinata charged in closer. She made a straight sabing attempt, but her enemy sidestepped it. Hinata turned around and ducked under another swing. She continued trying to get in close enough to do some damage, but the enemy's long weapon and masterful use of it kept her at bay. She finally backed off. Since close combat wouldn't work, Hinata reached for the bow on her back. Seeing what she had in mind, the attacking kunoiki tried to put a stop to it. Hinata quickly grabbed a few arrows and began firing them. The enemy swiftly and agilely avoided being hit as she ducked and weaved and even knocked a few arrows down. She slipped in close enough and swung her weapon as hard as she could. The area had been decimated by Naruto and his monstrous opponent's fight, mostly due to the enemy. The behemoth of an enemy easily slid through trees and boulders. Every time he did and whenever Naruto would actually land a hit, he noticed a change in his chakra, his skin color, and his body as if it had hardened. Naruto would have to figure a way to break him of that before he was seriously injured. As the enemy attacked, Naruto flipped about, bounding off and swinging about the trees. Having had enough of Naruto's evading and ducking behind trees, the enemy said the entire tree but looked confused as Naruto disappeared. He noticed a shadow dart by and turned to see Naruto coming right at him. As predicted, the enemy underwent a slight change in his appearance and chakra usage. Naruto grunted in pain as he roughly shoved his shoulder into his gut. The enemy thought that this was his chance. He quickly felt a sensation beginning from that point. He was shocked as he suddenly felt weak as he was sent flying through the air. He crashed and shakily stood to his feet. As Naruto reappeared, the big guy tried to reactivate his jutsu but couldn't due to his chakra system being completely shut down. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Naruto created 3 clones. 2 slid in on both sides of the behemoth and swept him off his feet. The final 2 each placed a flying kick to him and sent him soaring and crashing through the forest. He rolled to a stop and a female voice calling to him. "What are you doing, Hiroto?" He turned his head to the side to see the kunoiki struggling to behead Hinata. Using her chakra shield and the tree as support, Hinata fought to push the opponent back. Shooting star. Naruto came crashing down on the big guy with great force. As the cloud created from the impact cleared, Naruto stepped over the anguished giant, surprising the kunoiki struggling with Hinata. Distracted, Hinata kicked the kunoiki off. She looked a bit angry since her comrade had been defeated and it was now 2-1. She readied for a tough battle but was once again in for a surprise. Wood sprang from the ground and wrapped around her, properly restraining her. She struggled to break free but stopped as Hinata placed a kunai to her tea. "Who are you, and why are you attacking us?" Yamato asked. The kunoiki refused to answer. Instead she just gritted her teeth as she angrily glared at the leaf shinobi. From the shadows of the trees came Kiba and Akamaru with their opponent as a captive. The kunoiki saw this and her hardened expression changed. "We didn't come here for any trouble, we just came to complete our mission. You attacking us out of the blue like this could be taken as hostile, but we don't want to do anything unnecessary," Yamato told her. She scrunched up her face and sighed. "How did this happen, Kazuki?" He looked embarrassed as he said, "I know it's no excuse, but I was at a disadvantage. I wasn't good enough to overcome it and ended up as a burden to you. I'm sorry. Don't apologize, you're young and these things happen. She looked at the young leaf ninjas and then at Yamato. If you promise not to hurt Kazuki, then perhaps we can come to a compromise. Yamato responded, as long as you call off your comrades and no longer attack us, we'll leave you in peace. All we want is to carry out the mission that we were hired to do. Mission. She looked at them again and noticed that they all had Leaf Village headbands. A bit embarrassed herself, she said, we're sorry, we had no idea that you were the shinobi hired by the feudal lord. We assumed that we had finally found the ones responsible for all of this and engaged you. We apologize for the misunderstanding. She tried to bow. Yamato released her, saying that there was no harm done, as long as the others were stopped before it was too late. They made haste as they hurried to halt the fighting between the groups. With the quarrel dismissed and tension slightly reduced, the Leaf Shinobi were escorted to the feudal lord's palace. There, the escorts greeted their comrades already there and introduced themselves as the current 12 ninja guardians for the Land of Honeys, feudal lord. Kazuki was an average-looking young man of the age of 22. Though he had groomed and unusually gray hair, his youthful appearance and energy showed that he was someone that was in the maturing stages between young adult and a full-fledged 5 feet 7 inches man. He possessed bright and shiny eyes that seemed to reflect both his and the gaze's spirits. Ayaka was another youngster among this group. At the age of 25, she looked just as youthful as Kazuki. Being slightly older, she showed a greater deal of maturity that Kazuki seemed to struggle with at times. A kunoichi of the grass village, she wore her headband around her head of beautiful, long, luxurious and flowing asparagus-colored hair. Her eyes weren't as expressive as Kazuki's, but they were a beautifully sparkling turquoise. She was as lovely as a flower with her slender frame and long legs, standing at 5 feet 5 inches. Yo was a waterfall shinobi of average stature. Fairly lean, he appeared to be in great shape from his short brown hair to his blue eyes, all the way down to his feet. He seemed to have formed a close friendship with Kuki of the Cloud. It was only natural that they got along because they had so many things in common. Physically, they both were in shape, both stood to be approximately 5 feet 9 inches, and were near in age with only a few months difference. The biggest differences between them were their skin color, Kuki's black hair and brown eyes, and their personalities. One was laid back and went with the flow, while the other seemed to brim with much more energy. Hiroto, who was now receiving treatment for his injuries and being jokingly ridiculed by the rest of his comrades, was a large fellow at 7 feet 2 inches. He wasn't just tall, he was big and wide with a body mixture of fat and large muscles making up his massive frame. When off of the battlefield, the Star Village Shinobi was more docile and level-headed. He wore his village headband, extended with the help of another band, over the large bicep of his light-skinned left arm. He had dark blue hair and grayish-blue eyes. At the age of 35, he was the second oldest of the Guardians. Yuzuki was a kunoichi of the Hidden Moon Village. She radiated a nature of wisdom and maturity from her fading brown hair to her Maya blue eyes that looked as if they had seen just about everything in her time. Though her eyes and hair gave a glimpse at her years of experience, her body was that of a younger woman. It was toned and shapely, showing that she had kept herself in great shape even after countless years. Her personality was nurturing and even motherly to the rest of the Guardians. Everyone seemed to be respectful of her and responded well to her. The other 6 that had stayed behind were Takumi, a blue-eyed, azure hair-colored, 5 feet 8 inches man with what appeared to be a trident strapped to his back. Ayumu, a walking vision of beauty from the Stone Village with her straggly shamrock green hair and eyes and curvy figure. Shin, a long white-haired guy with a crazy look in his beady violet eyes. Azumi, a young kunoichi with a small frame and big blue eyes, had short blonde hair in a Heim-cut style. She had a seemingly rival-like relationship with another kunoichi of the group, Shinitsu. Shinitsu was the polar opposite in many ways, such as not being as flat as a board with a spirited and catty attitude. She also had long pink hair and normal-sized brown eyes. The last was the guy treating Hiroto's injuries. Daisuke was a red-haired, black-eyed, light-skinned shinobi with a toned frame. He was the third oldest and had a pleasant demeanor that seemed comforting as well. With the introductions out of the way, the Leaf Shinobi were led to the feudal lord, Hiroshi, and his wife Takara. Before them, they were informed of their mission. Recently, my daughter disappeared and we received a letter saying that she was being held against her will. It said that the culprits were holding her until a number of requests were met, the feudal lord informed. And what do they want? Yamato asked. They asked for money and for me to step down as feudal lord of the land of honey. I would gladly give them what they wanted in exchange for my precious daughter, but I fear that this could cause the downfall of our lovely country. If you have a whole group of elite ninja like the Guardian Ninja, why did you hire us for this? Naruto questioned. The feudal lord answered, I wasn't sure of this, but I'm worried that we have been under surveillance and if we're seen searching for them, they may take my daughter's life. The perpetrators may already know of the Guardians, so I figured that I would look elsewhere for help. Years ago I attended the Chunin exams, and witnessed a magnificent display of talent by two young boys who put on an exciting match. I'm glad to see them here today and expect great things. Naruto smiled big, showing that he was a bit embarrassed for the compliment. This brought a small smile to the feudal lord's face as well before he stopped to say, I hope that you can get my daughter back safely. I love her very much and I love my country. Naruto outburst, don't worry, we'll get her. What's this I hear about Kaidi going missing? A voice called out as the doors were flung open. Down the aisle stormed a blonde, green-eyed young woman. She forced her way through the ranks of the leaf shinobi to stand in front of the feudal lord. She had a mixed expression of anger and sadness as she awaited his reply. Kohaku, He stopped as any sign of him cheering up even a little completely disappeared. She scolded him for allowing it to happen and sitting around doing nothing about it. Naruto interjected, hey, don't be so hard on the guy. It happened and nothing can be done about it, but I'll tell you what we can do, we were hired to take care of this, and as I was saying before, just leave it to us and we'll get the feudal lord's daughter back safe and sound. Kohaku furiously turned to scold Naruto, look, I don't know who you are, or who you think you are, but, how can you say something like that? They already have her and at any point could do terrible things to her if they choose to. Why is that? Because they somehow slipped past the elite ninja that was supposed to be protecting my father and the family to get her. Just how are you gonna do any better, whatever your name is? Me. I'm Naruto Uzumaki of the Leaf Village, he simply replied. And I don't know for sure how we're gonna do it, but with me and the rest of these guys, I promise that we'll get your sister back, no matter what. The rest of the Leaf Shinobi looked a little annoyed by Naruto. He just couldn't help but boast and make it seem like he was so great. Some among the rest, and even the feudal lord and his wife, found Naruto's attitude and spunk to be quite refreshing. Kohaku scrunched up her face slightly as her scold began slipping away. She then pondered, Naruto Uzumaki, of the Leaf Village. Where have I heard that name before? She then looked a bit shocked as she stared at Naruto. Without saying another word, she stormed out of the room. This left the feudal lord and his wife to plead with the Leaf Shinobi to hurry and find the daughter before anything truly terrible happened. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.